Thank you very much, Doctor. So we'll start the third session. We have Professor Sharma. He's from United States of America, and he will share with us his thoughts regarding how he sees the benefits and how can we apply artificial intelligence applications in the education cluster. Professor Sharma, can you hear me?
Hello, hi. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Great, awesome. Is it possible for me to share a presentation?
Of course, yeah.
I believe it's been uploaded. Let me see if I can display it now.
We're not seeing your screen yet.
Okay. I think I uploaded it.
Yeah, now it's on. Now it's on.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Good evening, everyone. I guess good evening, good afternoon, good morning, because I believe folks are joining us from all over the world. So please accept my greetings depending on wherever you are. Thanks for having me today. I'm thrilled to contribute to the conversation on how AI will transform education. What I like to do for my presentations is to take a more storytelling approach to it. So my slides would be pretty modest in the sense that you'll only see pictures, but I hope you'll get the story that I'm trying to tell. So before we dig deep into AI-driven education, let's take a quick look at the history of education. And education system as we know it today, and when I say that, it's essentially the traditional classrooms where we have teacher and we have a bunch of students. So the education as we know it today is about 200 years old, so not a very old system. And once upon a time, only the elite were entitled to education, right? It was not everyone had access to quality education. And then the Industrial Revolution happened, that created jobs that never existed before. And as a result, there was a rise in demand for liquid workforce, which led to the demand for schools that were back then called factory schools. And the focus of those schools were primarily, training, vocational training, skills training, very specific to the kind of jobs that emerged during the Industrial Revolution. This led to the importance of universal education, public schooling, so some semblance of education as we see it today. And then there was a game changer, right? The advent of computers and internet changed education. It led to a paradigm shift in the education system by shifting focus away from the traditional methods of teaching, where the teaching was the main use of information and knowledge. Folks who were in school in the 90s and early 2000s must remember or may remember that in the early advent of internet, we were encouraged to use the internet to complete our school projects, and that sort of initiated the integration of technology in the way we learn and study at school. Technological advancements shifted the focus, personalized, student-centric approaches to learning, which allowed cater to diverse learning styles. In just the first decade of the 21st century, we have seen an unprecedented integration of technology in education. And as we all know, during the pandemic, we saw something called a Zoom revolution. The pandemic further normalized e-learning and online courses. And now flexible learning options such as online courses, micro-credentials, linked learning, work-integrated learning have become extremely popular that meets the demand of the knowledge economy. So for the first time in 200 years, education as we know it is changing, and that's primarily because of the emergence of technologies such as generative AI, and I'm sure that has been talked about in this room quite a bit since this event started. There was a very interesting TED talk by Sally Khan, who's the founder of Khan Academy, very recently. He shared a prototype of Khan Amigo, an AI tutor that just does not give answers to students. In fact, the AI tutor actually talks to the students, gives them feedback, and helps them think through the solution instead of just providing the answer. It apparently also had a feature where it would talk to itself before sharing any information with the student, and thus creating sort of a feedback loop very similar to what you would do with a real life tutor. Right? If you look at the market today, we have edtech tools that can measure student attention and engagement and prompt the teacher in real time about the need to take breaks because maybe the student's attention, she's not getting the student's attention. We have all sorts of AI softwares and edtech tools that also assess students' learning lab and in fact make recommendations on how those tasks can be done. Right? And the list goes on. Like all you need to do is sort of Google a bunch of edtech AI edtech tools, and you'll probably get a list of at least 10 to 15 companies that are working on that, right? So this very sort of rise in tools enabled by technology and more specifically AI to change and influence the way we learn brings me to the very promise of AI education, right? Education as we know it and as we define it is about to change forever. What AI has done is that it has broadened the horizon of transforming education, and it is now not just about education, which involves just being a student in the class and your teacher being the primary source of information and knowledge, but now education has broadened, and the way we look at it is now is more through the lens of lifelong learning and skill enhancement opportunities, right? It in many ways made education accessible and universal, right? Because now it's available and all you need is computer and internet to be able to access some of the most amazing content around education available online. So as we ask, now that we know the promise of AI is that it has expanded our horizons and shifted the model more towards lifelong learning. The question to ask is, what are some of the opportunities that we have now that we can use AI in education, right? And one of the opportunities is innovative learning. AI can enhance the learning environment by creating smart classrooms. Pretty much what we are doing right now, but not exactly AI driven, but it has allowed us to create this innovative blended hybrid learning environment. There have been use cases where AR and VR is being used to create immersive and engaging learning experiences for students in school, and that has proven to have a higher impact on student outcomes and performance. AI can be a teacher's assistant, right? It can reduce the burden on teachers. We have so many countries, around the world where the student to teacher ratio it's pretty bad, right? Like we have hundreds and hundreds of students and probably just one or two teachers, and so therefore AI presents an opportunity to build teaching AI tutors and assistant to lower the burden that the teacher bear while they're teaching the class. They can also help with content and resource creation in terms of like creating activity sheets or creating homework, and in some cases evaluating those assignments. The next opportunity is student performance. We already have cases where data is being collected and in classrooms that is being used to evaluate student performances. It's been used to predict students that might be at risk, and so it has allowed early intervention so that proper attention can be given to that particular student, and has in a way improved the way students can learn. And most importantly, accessibility and inclusion. And this is what I do feel when I say that AI is truly going to make education accessible and universal. One of the biggest advantage and opportunities that AI presents us is that it'll help us support learning for students with special needs and disabilities. Right? There are speech recognition technologies that can assist individuals with communication disabilities. Computer vision can help the students who are visually impaired, and so on and so forth. And so while, since the start of my presentation, I had a very optimistic tone towards AI, I consider myself to be someone who's always cautiously optimistic about technology. Uh, Having said that, it doesn't mean that we had all these amazing opportunities. Of course, there are downsides to it. I also like to think of AI and different data as a double-edged sword, right? So while there are a bunch of opportunities that come along, there are also certain pitfalls or dangers of using AI, and I'm sure these dangers must have been discussed throughout the course of this conference. But I'm going to touch on sort of top three, which I think in my head are the major concerns. The first one is bias. One of the significant concerns with AI in learning is bias, using AI algorithms to evaluate student performance, likely produce biased results for students who come from disadvantaged or low-income backgrounds. AI big part of the concern that I see the lack of transparency, right? AI is often referred to as a black box algorithm or black box technology. Essentially, the idea is that the algorithms are often complex and difficult to understand, even by the experts, and therefore this lack of transparency can make it challenging to identify and correct errors or bias in the algorithm. As a result, which may further lead more biases, if they are using an AI system. The final concern that I would point out is the concern around privacy and security. The algorithms collect vast amount of data on students, and not just hard data in terms of their grades, but a lot of like behavioral data, a lot of psychological data. And these are extremely sensitive personal data, and therefore it raises some really valid and pertinent questions around how we are approaching privacy and security, and how do we make sure that this data is not misused or exploited in a way that it harms students or teachers or the parents. So where are we now, right? We are at a crossroad, and it's very tempting to for us to say, oh no, let's wait on. I know there have been discussions around banning AI or putting a moratorium of 6 months to sort of slow down the pace so that policy can catch up with it. While I see certain pros and cons to that approach, I also feel that at this point, it's very easy to take the path of resistance and say things like, let's not just, let's just slow down the adoption. But what I feel and what I think is this is the hour of asking some really important questions and really tough questions, and asking us how we should pivot to accommodate broadening horizon of learning and education, right? As we continue to integrate AI in our education system, we need to ensure that it serves the best interests of students regardless of their background. We need to work towards creating an equitable and inclusive education system that enables all students to fulfill their potential. And the answer to how we do this requires being unconventional. Download games, how to use the mouse, how they had been given the device their own names based on what they use the device for. And I find this experiment very profound and interesting because it tells me that education comes and when students are curious, when they are interested, and there is a very big segment of, very big aspect of enabling self-discovery and self-learning in just the way we understand and learn things, right? In this very popular talk, it says teachers that can be replaced by a machine should be. And while this may, if I had just shown this code up front, it might have been very controversial or triggering. And I have huge amount of respect for teachers, so I want us to like really understand the essence of this code, right? What this code calls for is for us to rethink ways in which we think about teaching, right? As with the introduction of AI in education, not just learning is changing, but the role of teachers are also changing. We still need the best of teachers to support learning and education, but probably their role is going to shift from being just an instructional sort of guru to more being role models, mentors, people who are facilitating that learning versus the ones that are sort of imparting that learning, right? So it's an important thing and reimagine how we are putting the ability of teachers to work to improve student learning, right? And I want to leave everyone with another quote from Professor Mitra, and it is, "Learning is the new skill. Imagination, creation, and asking new questions are at its core." We're at the dawn of the AI era, and specifically in education. This requires us to shift the way we think. It requires us to shift focus from education alone to learning, to creating, to creativity, to self-discovery, and to promoting and encouraging our students or our children or our, the future generation being more imaginative and creative. And I think that's about it for my presentation. Thank you so much for your time today, and thanks for having me.
Okay, we'll start taking a few questions. Does anyone have a question or remark? Well, actually, I have not a question, but I want your thoughts, because here in the room, a few of our colleagues from the education system are concerning that artificial intelligence applications will replace teachers, and we want to hear from you some sentence or words to assure them and show them that these applications and these tools will help teachers instead of replacing them. So do you have something to consider that?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you go ahead. Did you hear me?
Yeah, if I got the, I just want to repeat the question to make sure I heard it correct. So you're asking, like, how can we make sure that the new, advancements in AI are going to help teachers and not replace them? Is that the question?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it is very obvious to feel a little bit, to have suspicion every time there's a new technology, right? Like, imagine back during the first and the second revolution, there were people who were hesitant, right? Like, there was this new sort of setup where people were asked to go into factories and work, right? And there was some hesitation and skepticism around that whole model as well. So I feel it's completely valid to have these apprehensions of being like just very skeptical of any new change, because it's just human tendency, right? To think about how would this harm me and how can I protect myself, right? So I wanted to say first, like, that is a valid concern. But the second point I would want to say that every time there is a technological disruption, it calls for learning and upskilling, right? That's really what I talked about in my presentation, is that AI has changed education, right? It's no longer limited to just going to school and just doing your college, right? It has translated education to lifelong learning, and that lifelong learning also translates to teachers, right? We cannot no longer have teachers who are unwilling to upskill themselves to accommodate to the new needs of the modern world, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to you want to raise a generation which is ready and the skills to be able to find jobs in a new economy, right? So I feel like the way to look at it is for teachers to think, to also invest in their own learning and to sort of, like I said, reimagine the ways in which the role of teachers is going to evolve. So yeah, that's how I think about it. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much. So you think that the artificial intelligence applications will help not only students in the education process, but also teachers in the education process?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a question or comment, but yeah, I do believe that there are a lot of tools out there that will not just help students, but teachers as well. Like I've been to, in my previous work, I have done, fieldwork and research on ground in India and Indonesia, and I've been to remote villages where teacher absenteeism is a huge problem, right? Like there are either no teachers, or if there are teachers, they don't come to school regularly. And I think, especially in those kind of areas, this is going to like really help ease some of that burden in terms of not being able to find a teacher or having one teacher for like some 100 students, right? So I 100% believe that it's going to be as helpful to teachers as it's going to be for students.
Thank you very much. I'm wondering if we have, yeah, yes, please.
I don't have a question, but I want to give a Moroccan context to this discussion. And as a science teacher myself, I've been using AI to create lesson plans using an app called ClassPoint and even ChatGPT. So AI does, in fact, help teachers. And I'm talking about the AI now. It is impossible for the AI now to actually take the place of teachers, simply because it doesn't have common sense. If we ask common sense questions to AI, it will give sort of an algorithmic answers, and some experts use that. There are a lot of YouTube videos, and there is a TEDx just about how stupid AI is, even if it is super and extremely smart. So I'm not talking about the future, because in the future, AI gonna develop. It will have more common sense than it does now, but for the time being, I think it is quite difficult for it to take the place of a teacher, and still AI can be used to have a quality teaching experience and to give teachers more time to just focus on students and to have that human contact with them. So yes, it is beneficial for students, but it is actually more beneficial for teachers. And if it's just globally known, or if we have quite the tools, and if we actually have access to the prime accounts of several applications or several websites, we will be the teachers will be able to help students better. That's in a Moroccan context, not just talking like in about like Canada or the US. In Morocco, it is doable. It doesn't require much of energy. It just requires a little bit of focus and some awareness about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, actually, machine will never replace humans in the education process or health process or any other process. Moreover, the machine is intelligent. So, yeah, okay. So, do we have? Let me have a thought from you.
You know, maybe je suis la personne qui met les pieds dans le plat très souvent. Alors laissez-moi donner, comment ça? Laissez-moi le faire, encore une fois. Machine stupid, okay? We used to say something, what comes in, goes out. If you give it something good, it's gonna give you a good result, something out, good out. And then if whatever you put in is no good, whatever you get out is no good neither, right? But the difference from years back and nowadays is huge. Now machines could reach out. You ask a question, the machine is going to reach out to some other machines in a network, glean information, analyze the information, and give you what you want. This is the machine we have today. It developed, the process helped developing so many things. Now think of this a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. These machines are not only, and this is my way of walking into something. The machines will not only give you something, but they will be intelligent. They will be smarter. They will have feelings. They will. It's a matter of time. And that time is coming. Now it's upon us to know how to interact with the machine. Here's an example, real example. Google trained a supercomputer on a language, on several languages. And that computer trained itself on another language that Google never, ever trained the computer on it. Malay. They didn't know how that computer trained itself on Malay and started connecting with other computers, teaching them Malay. So Google destroyed that computer, supposedly. These are the things that come in our way. So instead of, like Professor Alawi Hafidi said, instead of saying it's not going to happen, what if? I mean, this is what 0 and 1. What if? So what do? What if? And what if there's so many out there? Millions of what if. Our responsibility as human beings is to open up and train ourselves to understand and to go beyond this resistance to change. Because, and he gave a wonderful example. You start a project, you go discuss with somebody, he's going to tell you, what if it doesn't work? So what if it doesn't work? I have a story for you. There were these two people at the Grammys in California. One, Antonio Banderas. You know Antonio Banderas, right? Yeah. Wonderful guy, right? I love him. So, and somebody else sitting by his side, and they were chatting. So this guy asked Antonio, "Do you know me?" The guy said, "No, I don't know you. Who are you?" He said, "I'm the one who started Uber. You know Uber?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You know what? I started so many projects. I flunked so many projects. I borrowed money. I got bankrupt so many times. But now Uber, I am rich, $6 billion. Try and try again. You fall down. You might not be responsible of your falling down, but you certainly are responsible of standing up again and again and again." And that's what makes us. Yeah, that's what makes us human beings. We start again and over and over and over. Either you succeed or you die trying. Thank you.
Mr. Sharma, I'm wondering if you would like to add something? Are you still with us?
Yes, I'm still here, and
Yes.
the audio is not, the microphone is not very clear. So if there was a question, can you please repeat that to me?
If you'd like to add something to in this regard, otherwise we'll call the session closed.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks again. Thanks for the invite.
So, thank you so much to be with us today, and we hope we'll have you in person next time. So. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, my pleasure. Thanks.